Hey, this is Blake again, Peaceful Heritage Nursery. I wanted to show you all some of our mulberries. We're gonna do a little mulberry tour. So first, this is a multi-grafted mulberry. It has right now about 3 varieties on it. Some of them have gotten the axe over the years. So we'll start with this one. This mulberry has very large fruit. Check out the size of these, really nice. Really nice big plump berries. This is Taylor #1. And you can see the fruit's quite big. There's been some even bigger. Here's a really nice one here. Look at that one. So, fruit gets really nice and big. These are a seedling selection of Morris tartarica. So this is basically an Alba, but from Russian seed, planted by Clifford, England, and selected some years ago. And it's just prolific. It produces a ton of fruit, and the fruit's good. There's a big native green stink bug on that one. Stink bugs really like mulberries. Yeah, this thing is just loaded. I mean, it's got so much fruit on it. You can see, and it's tasty. I'd probably give it like a 7 out of 10. It's definitely good, really good. Has a nice tang, nice juiciness, nice crunch. Seems really cold hardy, disease resistant. It's definitely a winner. Okay, and going over here, this is Beautiful Day. So this is a mulberry that was selected in Florida, and you can see it's a white fruited mulberry. It's also a Morris Alba. And one thing you might notice is the fruit is quite small. It's very small. However, it's very sweet and it's nice and tasty. It's got a really nice, just sugary sweet flavor. Makes a nice backyard specimen. Obviously this one's not really marketable, the fruits are too small, but it makes a ton of fruit. You can see it's just super loaded, just fruit all over it. And it's hardy, and even though it's selected in Florida, it's growing here in zone 6B, no problem. And it's a nice one. And this one is good for dehydrating. This is Honeydrops. And so this is a selection that we discovered and named, and it was found in Louisville, Kentucky. There's the fruit. And once again, the fruit's not huge, but it makes up for that in flavor. It's got a really nice, sweet, but kind of nutty flavor and a nice crunch to it. It's just really good. There's one of our rubber snakes to keep the birds out. It's really been working. You got to move them around every day or two. But I haven't seen any birds in these trees since we put these snakes up. There's some of the fruit there. This is a selection of Morris Alba, and it's just a nice, easy to grow tree. It's got a semi-dwarf form to it, so it doesn't grow into a big, enormous mulberry tree. It stays a little bit smaller, has a really nice color to it. It's just a nice backyard tree. Good flavor, good production. Okay, the next one here, this is Viola Lavender. This one comes out of Indiana. And you can see it also produces pretty small fruit. It's got a nice lavender color, it's non-staining. The fruit seems to have a semi-dwarf stature to it, and the fruit's good. It's sweet. It has almost no tang to it, it's just sugary. Makes a lot of fruit. Seems very disease and insect resistant too. This one actually got attacked in the trunk by ambrosial beetles, and they bored right into it, and it survived it and has grown out and it's covered in fruit. There's a little lost kitten over here. Oh, you found mama. Good job. Okay, this one here, this is silk hope. And you can see the fruits are a little bit bigger on this one. It's shows a lot of Morris rubra genetics to it. Got a Morris rubra type leaf. Long fruits like Morris rubra. And the fruits are good, they're tasty. They got a really strong bite to them, like a lot of tang. Nice and crunchy. This one is also said to be highly resistant to popcorn disease. So it's one that people in the South are really looking for. And right here we have what is probably the best mulberry tree for most people's situations. And this is Illinois Everbearing. And Illinois Everbearing makes nice big fruit. You can see it's a really good size. They can get substantially bigger than this also. And the flavor of these berries, just, it's hard to beat. It's hard to beat. There's probably a Morris nigra black mulberry out there that's possibly better, but it'd be hard to get better than this, really. I've noticed when they're well grown on healthy soil, the fruit is very sweet and tangy, and when it's grown on poor soil, it tends to just be kind of sour, tart, and not nearly as big. But when grown on really healthy, rich soil like we have here on our farm that we're very blessed to have, it gets nice and big, and it just bears more fruit than most other mulberries out there, because most mulberries have a season that lasts about 3 weeks or so. However, Illinois Everbearing will bear fruit continuously for about 2+ months. I've come out here in August before, and there's been fruit. Today it's May 30th, so you can see a nice big fruits here, and it grows well all over the country. It's very cold hardy to about zone 5 or so. People are having success with this out in California, in the Phoenix, Arizona area. It does great. It does good all over the eastern United States. It handles humidity well, and the fruits are just first class. It's really the best one that I've ever grown or ever encountered, just all things considered. You might be wondering about Pakistan mulberries. Those will not grow well in most parts of the eastern US, because in the eastern US we have late frost, and we also have middle of winter warm-ups. So what that means is that in the middle of winter, it can all of a sudden warm up to 50, 60, 70 degrees for days, or sometimes a week or more at a time. And this will cause very early budding out of fruits that are prone to budding out early, such as almonds, apricots, and Pakistan mulberry. So they will start to bud out and get fried, and this will usually kill the tree or severely damage it. So Pakistan mulberry just does not work here. This is another Illinois Everbearing tree, and what I did on this one a little differently is this is actually grafted onto paper mulberry, and it actually seems like it might be slightly dwarfing it, but it's still fully productive. So yeah, pretty neat. Makes a great rootstock so far. The others are grafted onto Morris rubra. Here past the organic bees, we have Matava. And so Matava is a selection that we discovered growing in Louisville. And this actually was growing not far from where I grew up, just down the road actually. And it was a chance seedling grown on the side of the expressway. And I noticed that year after year this thing was just loaded with fruit. And It not only is loaded with fruit, but the fruit is very delicious. You can see the berries are a little on the smaller side, but they're not tiny, and they make up for it in their fantastic flavor. Very, very sweet. Got a little bit of tang to it. And just fantastic flavor. It's just really fruity, really sweet. It's just got a really good thing going. It's Matava. It's sweet. There's some more of the berries there. Really nice. And it also seems to have a semi-dwarf growth aspect to it. This one's been growing here for years and it's still pretty small. It's only maybe 7 feet tall right now. And the mother tree that it came from is quite large, but not by mulberry standards. Maybe about the size of an apple tree, which I consider semi-dwarf for mulberries. Okay, so this is one that I know a lot of you all are very interested in. This is Varaha. And so you can see it's loaded with berries now. It's ripening just a little bit later than some of the other ones. Here's a berry on it. You can see they're really nice size. They're large berries. They can get even bigger than this, but on average they are exceptionally big. The flavor on these is just fantastic. They have this really nice juiciness to them. They're very effervescent and sprightly. It's got a really nice blend of sweet and tart. Not too sweet, not too tart. It's got like a really perfect blend of those. It just tastes really sweet. It's got a lot of juice to it. It's not a dry mulberry. Some mulberries can be a little on the drier side. This one's not. It's really soft. Really, really excellent fruit. You can see it's just loaded down, and they've got this wonderful long fruit, which really shows the Morris rubra genetics. And we're actually having this one tested to determine what the exact genetics are. And so there's been a lot of demand for this variety. People have gotten really excited about this one, and for good reason. You can see it's just loaded with fruit. This is another mulberry that is really good for the south. This one comes out of Georgia. This is Miss Kim. And you can see the berries are a little bit later ripening than some of the other selections. But you can see they're nice size, nice big plump berries. And I've tasted a few of the ripe ones, and they have an outstandingly good flavor. They're crunchy, they're tangy, they're sweet, they're a little on the mild side, but they've got this really nice tangy sweetness to them that is very, very good. So this is Miss Kim. This is also one that is getting a lot of attention right now these days. And this is an old heirloom variety. This is Collier. You can see it also has a more of a Morris rubra looking berry. Really good. Nice tangy sweet flavor. Berries are nice and long. There's some more berries on this one, on the Collier. Some ants on them. And mulberries are ripe, everybody wants them. And so one thing I should mention is that as mulberries age, similar to fig trees, the fruit becomes larger and better quality. So a lot of these trees you can see are still pretty young, and the fruit will get better as they get older. I've noticed that. So what you're seeing right now is probably not the genetic potential of some of these trees because they're still rather young. This one right here is Rups Romanian, and it's a tree form mulberry. Here's the fruit. Not huge. I'm not sure if maybe it gets a little bit bigger in time, but that's the fruit of Rups Romanian. Kind of an average size mulberry. It's It's got a good flavor. It's kind of mild. This is one of our mulberry trial grounds here, so we're trialing a lot of varieties here. We've got some dwarf varieties we're trialing, some varieties from Thailand. Most of the ones from India and Thailand have not worked out, such as this one that got replaced. This is Black Prince. It's off to a great start. So we will be releasing more of these as time goes on, and as our trial planting here matures even more, we'll have more information and more cuttings available. And so you can check all these out at peacefulheritage.com. We usually sell mulberries in the summer and in the winter. It's May right now. In June, they'll be going back up for sale. So you can check those out at that point. So thanks for watching, and you can subscribe below.